Episode 37 of Trying British Foods. I live in Manhattan and I've discovered a shop that sells British food items that are not otherwise available in American stores, so I am working my way through recommendations that you all send to me. First up today, I have a Milky Way. Now, I should explain, we also have Milky Way in the US, but it is not the same as what you have as your Milky Way. So, what you have as Milky Way, we have as Three Musketeers, I believe. And what we have as Milky Way, you have as a Mars bar. Just looking at this is milk chocolate with a lightly whipped center. I mean, we would have that as Three Musketeers. This actually did cause some confusion in a very early episode, I think episode 3 or something, when I had the Mars bar. And that confusion on the commenter end actually led to, I think, one of my very first hate comments, which, I look back at that sentimentally now, and what a simpler time. So this will be my very first British Milky Way. Well, I suppose that's not entirely accurate, is it? Then there are a number of Christmas items that have come in for the season. So the first thing I have is this classic Christmas pudding. This is a single serving. So this is from Matthew Walker. And it is a moist Christmas pudding with juicy sultanas, cider, and rum. So sultanas, I think we would call those like golden raisins. I think that's roughly what that is. So for this, I have heated it up, of course, and I have this. I'm going to eat it with a fork. You probably also eat it with a fork, but I never know. You know, my utensils cause scandals all around the world, or at least where you are. But so I have heated up. It smells very nice, I have to say. I'm going to eat this with a fork, so deal with me if that's incorrect. Bitter mints. I picked this up. The packaging is incredibly good quality, very heavy, very nice. It reminds me a bit of the After Eights, which, you know, I absolutely loved. Now, looking at this image, though, I feel like we do have these in the US. I've seen them maybe around. I'm not entirely sure. They're not super common, but I feel like I've seen these somewhere maybe. I don't know. I'm not really sure. A powerful mint oil in a firm fondant, enrobed in intense dark chocolate containing 95% cocoa solids. Enrobed in intense dark chocolate. I love that. Whoever wrote this is a poet. The bitterness of the chocolate is balanced with the strength of the mint to give a uniquely indulgent recipe of contrasting flavors. Something about this packaging just tells me that this is for me. Any other recommendations you have that have packaging like this where it looks like kind of elegant and evil, I'm absolutely interested in, so please do send those my way. The Milky Way. Yeah, the closest thing we would have to this be a Three Musketeers, definitely. Although, and I've said this before, and this is another word that people make fun of how I pronounce, but the center of this we would call nougat. You call it, I guess, a whipped center, or whatever it is you call it. But whatever that is, yours is different than ours. Yours is a lot creamier and a lot sweeter. Ours is a lot more airy and kind of fluffier. So it is, I mean, noticeably different than a Three Musketeers that way, but otherwise, that is very, very similar to what we have as a Three Musketeers. The classic Christmas pudding. Is actually very, very good, even though it is in this kind of instant format. You would definitely taste the rum in here. And Americans watch, I mean, if you've never had Christmas pudding or pudding, I mean, I hadn't had Christmas pudding until right now, you might mistakenly think that this is similar to cake, but it's actually not. It's much, much denser, much more rich, much heavier than a type of cake, or even like fruit cake that we would have. But so I actually really, really like this. A lot of flavor, very sweet. It is very, very rich and heavy, so I'm glad I don't have much more than this, but the flavor is really, really good. Bitter mints. Okay, let's open these up. And okay, all right. I have to say, packaging is perfectly fine. It's not quite as exciting as the After Eights. I have to say, the After Eights, I was like jumping up and down over how excited I was over that packaging, but this is okay. Okay, very interesting here. So the closest thing we would have would be like Thin Mint cookies, kind of. I mean, that would be the closest thing, but that's kind of more of a cookie than like a mint. The mint in this is really overwhelmingly strong. I was not expecting it to be that powerful. This is very, very much a mint. I actually think, personally, I think there's a little bit too much mint in here and not enough chocolate. And that might just be my American palate kicking in, but the chocolate almost seems superfluous just because of how much mint is in here and how powerful the mint flavor is. So these taste good. I just feel, my unsolicited opinion is I feel like the ratio is a bit off. Little less mint, little more chocolate would make these absolutely perfect. Thank you very much for the recommendations, and I'll see you next time.